Night Owls with Alan Robson.
You never know who's going to call next.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And don't forget, gotta love our new lineup. Greatest Hits Radio at the weekend is now even bigger. We're the home of Janice Long, Saturdays at 1, and America's Greatest Hits with Paul Gambaccini, Saturdays at 5. Plus, Pat Sharp is now here Saturday and Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock, 10 in the morning. Catch up on everything you missed last weekend. Get all of the details on the Greatest Hits website. Make sure you check in there. However, let's dive into you guys and see what you've been up to. We asked about all things evil. Got a sneaky suspicion James in South Shields has some kind of confession that he would like to make. Let's see what that's all about. Hi, James.
Hello, Alan. How you doing? You all right?
I'm good. Yeah, what's your story then?
Well, it was about 6-7 years ago.
Right.
I was dating this girl, beautiful woman she was.
Right.
Lovely personality, everything like that. You know, I thought she's definitely the one here. You know.
Uh-huh.
So we went on a couple of dates around the local area. It was going pretty good actually, and there was no issues or anything like that at the time.
Right.
And I thought it was 2 weeks before New Year.
Right.
I thought I'd do something special, you know. I says I'll book an expensive hotel down London, and I'll get first class train tickets down there, you know, just to show off, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's an absolute man kind of thing.
Definitely, so the most expensive one I possibly could. We obviously, I explained to her, I says I booked this. She was like, oh, I can't wait, I'm so excited and everything.
Yeah.
So brilliant. So anyways, we were heading down, we're on the train, and then she said, oh, I forgot my credit card, like our bank card. And I says, well, what you can do is just transfer me the money, you know, it's not a problem. And then obviously I'll give you just go to a cash point and take it off my card, you know.
Right.
Yeah, we'll do that. So anyways, we got down there. It was going really well. We'd been out for a few drinks. She was over the moon with the hotel and everything. And it was just a lovely night, you know.
Uh-huh.
And then we got later on in that night time and went back to the room. She went and she says, basically, I'm going to be going to live in Australia.
What?
And I was like, what? I said, I'm going to be going to live in Australia in a couple of months. And I was like, well, why did you not tell us this like before, you know?
I mean, there was some hope for you with regards to her going down under, but not to Australia, for heaven's
She was
sake.
going to live in Australia. And I says, well, why did you arrange all this if you knew you were going to be going away and not be able to see, you know? Because obviously I don't want to go to Australia.
Wow.
And she was like, well, I would hope you would just stay with us. And I was like, no, that's not what I really want. And anyways, basically, I says, I don't want to do this. And I just left her and I just walked out.
Oh,
I left her in the hotel. But when I got out, and the next day I was heading home, and I thought, I've got both of the train tickets and she's got no card. So is she going to get home? So I kind of just left her in London.
That.
So I left her.
I've come here for sex, not just now, but for the next few months, and I've invested in sex. Yeah, but that is heinous, you evil, wicked beast of a man.
And then I was like, oh, got it. And I thought, how's she getting home? And I tried to ring her, she didn't answer. And I thought, oh, I've just left her there and she's got no money. And she's stuck there now. And I thought, oh, well, I can't get any. It played on my mind for a while, you know. And then obviously I met somebody else, and we're together now, you know. She's married to us. And I was in a restaurant once in my area again. And this was, I would have said it was nearly over a year after it happened. And went into the restaurant. Obviously, me and my wife now went in. Yeah. We sat down, and you wouldn't believe it, but she was in a booth behind us on another date. This was after a year ago, so obviously she didn't go to Australia. That was just...
You don't think she might have been testing you? If she was testing you, she found you wanting. That's absolutely sad. But that might have been the case. Oh, dear.
And then when I was in the booth, I could hear her behind us on this date. And I thought, oh, what? At least I know she got home okay.
Did she know that you were there?
No, this is the next part. So I was in the booth, and then I heard her get up to go to the toilet, and she went past us, but we were actually back to back on this booth. So obviously I could hear her behind us, you know, and she went into the toilet and she walked past us to go into the toilet. And I thought, obviously my new wife was there, and I thought, when she comes out here, she's going to be face to face with us, isn't she? When she just looks at us and she comes out, not realising it's me. So anyways, I picked the menu up, And I had already ordered food. I was waiting for it. And like my partner said, "You've been looking at that menu for a little while now." And I was just kind of like above my face so she couldn't see us when she came out. And, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just looking at desserts." That's all I could think of at the time. Eventually she walked past. And then I think she left before me because obviously they got there before me.
Right.
So she walked past us but didn't see us again. But when she went out that toilet, the heart was just racing. I was thinking,
the potential for disaster there loomed large. That's for sure. 2 questions. Was the guy she was with bigger than you?
No, he was only small. But
that's all right.
He was totally different than me. Totally different.
Right. Second question. How did your wife stack up against Miss Glam Pants from London then?
I still haven't even told her.
Really?
No, I haven't even told her. I still never told her the situation, even to this day.
Now, you see, ladies, if you're listening to this, there's a lesson here. This is, you never really know the man that you're with. Because, first of all, that I can see it happening. Mm-hmm. And she's going, "I want to go to Australia and I'd love you to come with me," expecting you to say, "Well, I would like to because I'm partly naked and so are you. I think anything you want, pet. Whatever I'll come with you." But no, you stuck to your guns. Well done.
She brought this Australia thing up in just a conversation. It wasn't like, it was like, I don't know, it was just like in a conversation. I thought you just slipped that in, if you know what I mean. It wasn't like you were going to tell us this.
Yeah.
And it was the awkwardest situation I've ever been in.
No, were you not tempted? This is also going to show you what men are like, ladies, as well. Were you not just tempted to say, "Yes, I shall come to Australia with you"? "Oh, you're my hero." Then you have a hell of a weekend. Then you come back and say, "I've been thinking about it. Maybe it's not." I mean, would that not have been, I don't know, somewhat better?
It might have been. I'm a person that will say my mind straight away. If someone comes up, I'd be like, "That's me," no, I don't want this. So I kind of just jumped the guns, really, and I walked out. Honestly, that whole weekend must have cost us over about £800 each.
That's a fortune.
Because obviously it was New Year and it was in London, so people are just crazy on prices on there.
For sure. But you see, you could look at it a different way and think, her view, and I know she had to get back home, but everything else was pretty much paid for. She'd had the meal, she'd had the drinks. The hotel was paid for, wasn't it?
Oh, the hotel room, everything was all paid. Apart from obviously, when I walked out and I left her in the hotel room, I took both of the train tickets with us. So she had no train tickets.
Yeah, worst case scenario, though, somebody could pay by card to get her back up home. So there was always, she was never going to she's not still there, obviously. I mean, she did get back.
Because I've seen her on a day behind us.
I know, absolutely. So she might have thought, well, he's gone. He obviously wasn't the guy that I thought he was. However, exactly. I'm in a top-class hotel. It's New Year. Bring it on.
I should have really got up in that restaurant and just says, "Unfortunately, I didn't buy your train tickets, but I'll pay for your meal." Good luck.
But the shock, you see, to me, because I'm kind of like you. I like things nailed shut, so there's no flexibility. You know what's going to happen. Everything's cool. Everything's organised. I'm a bit of a freak about those kind of things. So for you to suddenly say, "I am taking my little wheelie suitcase, and I'm gone," and then off you go. Whoa! I'd have been thinking, well, is he kidding? Is he coming back? What?
Honestly, it was just. I don't know. I didn't want to live in Australia. I never ever thought about that. You know what I mean?
So what did you do? I mean, did you go straight to the station and try and get a?
No, I left and I went into another hotel, obviously a really cheap one. And I just stayed until the train tickets in the morning.
Right, so you didn't even benefit from a posh night in a posh anyway.
No, she got the posh night and I stayed in
Travelodge or something. Yeah, oh dear me.
She got the benefit really, but
yeah. Well, she didn't. I think it's safe to say. But I asked for evil, and James, you gave me evil in spades, and I'm proud of you for that. Thank you very much.
No problem, man.
Amazing story. Thanks for coming on.
No worries, still
Take it easy. Bye-bye. Is he your hero or is he your villain? Yes, it depends. A lot of blokes will say, "Yeah, right on." Other blokes will say, "Oh, he he could have had sex all that night just by saying, "All right, cobber, I'm your man," but didn't. But he was honest, you see. So, in a way, he did good. In a way, he did really bad. That's James from South Shields. Well done, him. Absolutely fabulous. So, we have someone else on who is stunning. This lady is 15 years of age. Her name's Tia. She battled through the regional rounds for a national contest called Teen Star, and she competed against 8,000 other teenagers, and she won the national final at London's O2 last Saturday. Let's have a chat with Tia. Hello, Tia.
Hi.
Hello, darling. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolutely amazing. So, how many rounds did you go through?
Basically, you do one round that's like, that's when everybody's like auditioning. So there's usually around 10,000, 8,000 people that do it.
Right.
And you're in a room with like maybe 4 or 5 people at once, and then they all do like a bit of a song.
Right.
And then they'll pick a few people, and then they would go through to the next round, and then there's about 3 other rounds after that, and then you get to go to London if you're lucky enough. So. Right.
So you were indeed lucky enough. I sense a hint of the Bonnie Scott about you. Where are you from?
I'm from Glasgow, actually. So
Fantastic. I know we love the Ouija's. So, there should be a band called the Ouija's. You know, like the Bee Gees. There just should be anyway. But, however, how do you pick the songs then, Tia?
Well, I like a lot of old classics that putting my own spin on it. I done my own version of House of the Rising Sun for one of the rounds.
Oh, believe that's a song to sing, mate. I mean, that's not the easiest song in the world, and also, it's not an easy song to sing, and it lasts for about 4.5 days.
Yeah, so I did have to put like my own kind of interpretation of it, maybe calm it down a little bit.
Because apparently, the one that you won with, you did your own version and an incredibly different version of "You're the One That I Want" from Greece, which you would think everybody's heard that to bits. They know it inside out. It's risky taking on a classic.
Yeah, I thought that at first. I was going to change it last minute, but then I was like, you know something, everybody knows it. It's a classic, so I might as well just put my own spin on it and see how it goes. But obviously, it went well.
How easy is it for you to do things like that, though? Because when you say things like, "I'll just put my own spin on it," this is totally changing a song and turning it upside down.
Well, you have to listen to like a few other people's covers and see like what bits and pieces you can take from that and use it, and like using other people's ideas, and of course using your own ideas, and you obviously have to like make your own soundtrack for it, which a guy done for me. He's amazing at making stuff, so props to him.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. But this is the thing: you've got a fantastic career ahead of you now. This is going to be a doorstep to who knows what. What is it that you want for yourself, Tia?
Well, obviously the big hopefully dream for me is to, be the next Lewis Capaldi, but obviously I can't know version. But you always have to be in the right place at the right time. But that is one of I do obviously want to be making my own music and, hopefully, doing well with that. But you never know.
No, and where do you go next? Or what do you get as a prize with this competition then?
So what I'm doing now is I get to work with a producer. I get to make my own album. I need to start writing songs. I get to do a single, which I'll be doing in London during the summer after I've done all my exams.
Right.
So,
so it's exciting stuff. I mean, what do your friends and family think?
I don't really know. They obviously think it's really good. Like, it's just a bit odd how you just get like your local person just going off to do stuff like that, going to London, getting to record your own stuff.
This is the thing though. It's not every day. And on top of that, I mean, what were you presumably at 15 still at school? But you must have had some idea in your head what you wanted to do. I mean, did your parents have you down to Well, this woman shall be a doctor. I mean, were you heading for another career?
I like the idea of interior design. I do a lot of art, or this is good. I always wanted to do something with the police force, which I thought would be really, really good.
Right.
But I don't know if I could do. Everybody else says we could see myself doing something like that, but I don't know.
I think you could do absolutely anything. You should be hugely proud of yourself. You've got a totally different persona than anybody else that's on the scene at the present time. And for anybody to see you do that Grease tune the way that you did, which I mean, it wasn't exactly like you were bouncing up and down on high heels doing the greasy style dance. I mean, this was it's a very, very different tune, the one that you made of it. And how easy is it though to take a song and decide? And I know you say, well, you hear other people doing other versions of it, and I'd heard that slowed down before, but not sung in the way that you did it.
It's actually my singing coach Julie Miles. She's very good at picking out stuff. Like she's got a very good ear for like creativity. But we just thought it's the final, so we need like a really good song. Like I've done old classics, House of the Rising Sun, California Dreaming, stuff like that. So we just thought, what's something that everybody knows and everybody will recognise at some point.
That's brilliant. You did an absolutely blitzing version of it. So congratulations with everything else. Everything you've got, you completely and utterly deserve. Well done, you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks to you. Take it easy, darling. All the best.
You too.
Bye-bye. Oh, and she's lovely. She's a Ouija as well. I always think that if you fold the country in half, say, not exactly in a straight line, in just a bit of an angle, you could the Clyde, the Tyne and Tees and Weir, and the people used to build ships and have pits and collieries and steelworks. We are the northeastern Glasgow. We are the other side, and they're very similar to us, the good people there. Anyway, 0191 488 3188. And we've got Marie next, who is in Ashington. Hi, Marie.
Hi.
Hello, darling. I gather you've been out hunty-fying for ghosts.
Well, it was a while ago we went out hunting from this hotel. Saying that, we've just been to one this weekend, but the one I want to talk about is we're staying in Masham.
Right, oh, tell me
in
everything.
North Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Me and my husband went down because he wanted to go to the Black Sheep Brewery.
Right.
So we went down for his birthday, and we're staying in the hotel, and I was like, feels a bit strange. And my husband's a skeptic. He's like, well, there is a plaque there that says that it's haunted, that there was the streets and that.
Yeah.
And he's like, but that's a load of rubbish. So we went upstairs, got ready to go down for dinner. I was sitting chilling, and all of a sudden the shower came on.
Oh, lovely.
Full pelt, you could hear it. As soon as I walked in the bathroom, it just stopped.
Oh. So what did your husband, what did your skeptic say to that then?
He's like, oh, it could be something to do with the waterworks.
Right, yeah.
The plumbing.
Yeah. So what else happened when you were there then?
Nothing else happened. I went down and was asked about it, and they said, oh, yeah, that it happens quite a lot in here, that there is like a lot of hauntings going on, yeah.
Right. So what was the name of the place you were staying at?
It was the King's Head.
The King's Head.
Yeah,
I'll have to take a look at that. That sounds great. I mean, presumably he went to the Black Sheep Brewery to get seriously ratted for his birthday. I'm guessing that was part of the picture, was it?
Yeah, this was, as I say, we'd only had one drink at the time. He's like, oh, it's just the plumbing, it's just the plumbing.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep at all that night. But only recently we stayed at a hotel in Dudley,
right?
The Station Hotel.
Yes, know it.
I booked the hotel, and then I looked it up, and I realised that that's extremely haunted.
Yes.
So I was a little bit worried about going, so I had my 12-year-old son with us.
Right.
And of course, I love stuff like that, but I get really scared.
Sure.
So I was a bit like, oh, I hope nothing happens with having him with us.
And what happened?
Nothing. We heard a couple of tappings through the night, but apparently the second floor is where it's really haunted. We were on the first floor.
Right. So, hey, so what is your fascination with it, though? Because you sound like you're scared of it, but you want a little bit here and there as well.
I would like to say something, but I think I might have an accident if I did.
Right.
I've been a believer pretty much all, like, as long as I can remember. I go to all these psychic nights and things like that. I'm interested in it.
Right.
Like, we did a ghost walk in Newcastle a while ago. Through the castle keep. I didn't take part of any experiment. It is my biggest regret, because I said things you can touch or places you could go, and I didn't do any of it, and I do regret not getting the full experience.
It's a funny thing, because when we've done the things on air where we've carried out like ceremonies that allow people to see, people have said, well, I listened to it, I just didn't do it. And you think, well, why are you listening to it if you're not going to... This is your chance just to say. And I mean, it's not like everybody gets a coconut. You know, some people do, some people don't. But it's awful just thinking, what if that had, that I had got the proof right there, could have got it. Frustrating.
I think my husband, he is a skeptic, but he listens to reruns of your show, all your ghost hunts over and over and over again. Great. I think I must have heard the children one at least 6 times. Because he falls asleep and then he puts it back to the start.
Good, man. It's good to know. Thank you very much for coming on, Marie. And hey, fingers crossed one day you'll get the absolute proof to need just to shake him a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I want to do your bus tour that's coming up.
Yeah, we got something coming up in April 24th.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Brilliant. Hey, well, you never know, might see you there. Thank you so much, Marie.
And I've got one more thing as well.
Yeah,
I work at Wetherspoons in Ashton, the Rohan Canai.
I know it.
It's been open 20 years in April. And we do a lot of work for Click Sergeant. And we're actually coming up to nearly £40,000 in that 20 years. Our pub alone has raised.
Amazing.
We're looking for donations at the minute. I was just wondering if you got anything around the studio. I know it's a bit cheeky around the studio that you would.
We'll have a look. I'll see what we can dig up. I'm sure we can find something for you. Just something you might get a donation or two on.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. We'll try and find something. Stay on the line. And
no worries, that'd be great.
Chris will take your address and we'll see what we can do for you. Okay.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Okay.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Right. Bye.
Bye.
How about that? Yes, you mentioned a bus thing that we're doing. For the first time, a brand spanking new idea. And it's Alan Robson's Grizzly Tales Live 2020 is what it's going to be called. I'm going to be hosting a live Grizzly trail around the northeast of England on an old school double-decker bus. So you can be up close and personal and hear the uncensored stories of blood and gore. We'll visit some of the North's most haunted places, and you can see for yourself where these things took place and journey through we've got an amazing history here in the Northeast, so we're going to take people through it, hear the darkest stories about local places, murders, massacres, mayhem. We hope it'll be an incredible night that you won't forget. It's going to be Friday the 24th of April from around 6 p.m. And I think the ticket line's open on Friday, this Friday coming. And you just got to search for us on Facebook or Twitter. You'll find all the info you need. Alan Robson's Grizzly Tales Live 2020. As I say, Friday, I think, is when they're opening the thing. Anyway, I don't know about you, but I can remember being at school and we had a lesson in music where the teacher brought out a xylophone. Now, I know sometimes you can have xylophones sticking up in the air and kids playing them for juvenile jazz bands and what have you, but I'm thinking, I've got a lot of music in my collection. I can't remember a single thing that had a xylophone in it. I was wrong, because there is one track.
This is Night Owls on Greatest Hits Radio.
You never know who's going to call next.
0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And don't forget to let me know if you're willing to admit to anything as heinous and evil and wicked as we heard from our friend in South Shields earlier on tonight. That really will take some beating. Mark's been on. He wants a bit of help from the Night Owls, who know a bit about audio and video, surround sound stuff. I want to bi-wire, BI-wiring, my 2 front floor standing speakers. What exactly is bi-wiring? How do I connect my bi-wiring cables to my AV receiver? I'm tech savvy about audio video stuff, just not much with by-wiring. Now, I'm old school. Back in the day, you used to just simply put 2 speaker cables split into the two outputs for your speaker, and just 2 exactly the same into that, and you run them off to different areas. I'm not sure 100% what you mean by wiring. I've also asked Tony, who's obviously pretty much of an expert of that kind of stuff, and he's never heard of the phrase by wiring. However, let us know what you mean, and we'll try and sort something out. 0191 488 3188. If you can help with that, if you've been there and you know exactly what he means, come back and give us that help. It is 11 of the hour, so first clue. Now, tonight's competition, I'm going to give you 4 clues, and you've got to give me the name of the island, okay? The name of the island. It is an island somewhere on planet Earth. I'm going to give you 4 clues. You're going to tell me the name of the island. Simple. First clue is horseshoe, vampire, or fruit. There are 3 types of something, okay? Horseshoe, vampire, or fruit. It's the same creature, 3 types thereof. Write it down. You'll have 3 more to come across tonight, and tonight's already flying. And we have Irene from Stanley. Hello, Irene.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, my love. How you doing?
Well, it's a long time since I spoke to you. Are you not on the ordinary station? Can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear.
Are you not on Metro now?
No, that ended about 9 months, 10 months ago now.
Do you remember I was on the phone and we went in I sound funny, in an in-depth conversation about that alien Jesus?
Yes, of course.
Well, I'm not going to talk about that tonight.
Okay, whatever.
So, this is just a call on input because I've never listened for a long time because a lot of things have been happening.
Sure.
So I just want to ask you, do you still have your cat?
No.
Can you hear us?
I can, yes, loud and clear, Irene.
It's a struggle to hear you.
All right, well, I shall force the words down the line even louder than I possibly can. No, I haven't had...
So should I get you on a different station now, Alan?
Yes, we're on this one every Sunday, Greatest Hits Radio Northeast.
Yes, but I cannot hear you. Is it not on 97?
No, it's on 11:50 a.m. If you're going old school. It's 11:50 on the AM band, not the FM band, the AM band.
Oh, that sounds very technical.
It's 11:52 or 11:70. We're on both of them.
And is it still on Metro?
No.
Oh.
No, it's a different station altogether.
So is that how I can hardly hear you? Anyway, Alan, I'm not going to keep you. Have you still got your cats? It's just a short call tonight because I don't know what your topics are.
Right.
What's the topic tonight?
Oh, we're talking about people doing what's the most evil thing that anybody's ever done, and
what's the what, Alan?
The most evil thing that you've ever done, the most wicked.
What's the most evil thing you've ever done?
Well, I started the show off with that.
Can you shout up, Alan?
I can shout up, and I don't know how you have. Yeah, anyway.
Pardon?
One of the most wicked things I did was I sent my mother-in-law of one of the wives a bottle of wine to try and make up because we hadn't got on, and it was a bottle of laxative wine.
Oh!
And she was on the loo for all right over Christmas and New Year.
Oh, that was horrific. And did you do it on purpose?
Yes.
I'll never know how to get this station, and I have to ask my daughter. It sounds too technical to me.
Well, you know, if you've got an FM radio, and you have been if you were listening to the other station,
I must have if I'm speaking to you.
That's right. Well, there's a little button on it that changes it from FM to AM. They're 2 different frequencies. You click it to AM.
So I go to AM now, not FM.
That's right, AM, and you go to 1152 or 1170. We're on both of those.
Is that on the dial?
It is on the dial.
But it's not on my phone. It's got Metro 1, 2, 3, and then something else. But I just ignore all of them.
You do.
My voice sounds funny. Anyway, Alan, this is just a social call.
Lovely.
And I'll think of a topic to phone you in the future.
I'll look forward to it, Irene.
No, I'm not
Thank
finished
you.
yet, Alan.
Okay.
With respect, do you still have your cats?
No, I haven't had cats for about 15 to 20 years now. But
How not?
No. We were just travelling away to different countries to do stuff, and they spend more time in the cattery than they were actually with us.
Alan, can I just ask you a personal question? You're married and you had a little boy, didn't you?
No, I've never had a little boy. Just wives.
I must get mixed up and confused. I'm going to go. Have you ever had anything spooky happening? Have you any? Had anything spooky happen to you?
Hundreds of times we've been playing hundreds of ghost shows for years now.
No, John. Have you personally had anything spooky?
Absolutely. I've seen all kinds of things over the years in all kinds of different places.
But to you personally?
Yes, absolutely. I've seen stuff. I've been touched by stuff. Been pushed down a flight of stairs.
Have you?
Yeah, I've had a few things that's happened.
Right. Well, listen, I'll try and get that dial.
Right.
In maybe about a month's time, I'll ring you up and I'll think of a topic to talk to. It's been nice to talk to you.
Lovely to talk to you, Irene, too. Thank you for ringing in.
It's Eileen, Alan.
That's what I said, Irene.
No, Eileen.
Eileen. Oh, I beg your pardon. I've got Irene on my screen. Eileen, thank you.
Can you not remember talking to us last year?
I can about Alien Jesus. We went into great detail about it.
Yes, but it will be no good going into it, Alan, because I can hardly hear you.
Right, okay. Well, hopefully when you get the radio sorted on, then it'll be a bit easier for you, okay?
Alan, one more thing. Are you always happy as you sound?
No.
See, I always think I'm the only one that's hard done by. And I always think you're very, very happy. But are you always happy?
No, of course not. I'm the same as anybody else, but I'm happy when I'm in your company. That's the thing.
In my company?
There you go, always.
That's made me nice. I'll get you in a month's time, Alan.
All right, well, you can get me next week, ideally. But okay, Eileen, thank you.
What have I got to look for? AM?
AM 1152.
Okay, it'll be nice speaking to you.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. And Night Owls, if you are going to ring in tonight, for heaven's sake, speak up, because Eileen's having a bit of a joy, a bit of a mare hearing you. So just be aware. Gillian said there's a quick view of by-wiring. There's stuff on YouTube on how to do all that kind of stuff, and there is. She's put a list of stuff down. You just got to click on it, and it's there. So go to Google, like most people do. Neil from Cramlington is up next. Hi, Neil.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Okay, I've had a good week this week. I went to the Zoo Garden Centre with Wednesday on Tuesday.
Oh, did you eat there?
Yes, and I had cheese savoury sandwiches, crisps, and I had Twix cheesecake covered in chocolate, and it was lovely, Alan.
A Twix cheesecake? That's something.
Yes, and then on Wednesday, I went to the bingo at the Toxin Club and I won £21.
Whoa, there, so it's round to your house for a party. Hey, well done, congratulations.
£21, Alan.
That's
and we shared it with Wendy, mind, we shared it because I got a tenner back and the pound coin back and that, so I enjoyed it.
That's
then
fair.
on Saturday yesterday, I was at the Metro Centre.
Oh, what did you do there then?
I had a Chinese meal, all that you can eat.
All you can eat? What a buffet.
Like a buffet, and I had a Then we had a hot chocolate with marshmallows and whipping cream. And that was lovely as well. And Wednesday had that as well. And I had that pink, like whites with pink lemon stuff. Oh, that was lovely as well. So, and today I've been to Highlegate. That used to be Highlegate Garden Centre, Dobby's, Alan, today, and I had my photograph taken with an owl.
With an owl? Oh, that's nice, because you're an owl yourself, aren't you? That's the thing.
I had my photograph taken with an owl, with an owl with a glove on me arm, where you put the hand through the glove to stop it biting and getting the claws on me arms.
It didn't hurt you though, did it?
No, and I stroked the owl, and I got some lovely colouring in books and them lovely jumpers that stitched into the shirts. The khaki and a purple one, and all aubergine purple, them jumpers stitched and attached to the jumpers. They're lovely, them, Alan.
Fantastic.
So I've had a good. So and I'm doing Alex the JG Placky Bag show on a Thursday, the Carry On Ski radio station.
Right. That sounds good too. A lot of fun.
And I bought my son club on Friday night at the disco as well.
Boy, my goodness, you're busy. You get everywhere, don't you?
And I got a chocolate rose for Valentine's Day off Sharon McCarricker. That used to be Tyler car that used to take us out for me to our meet dad to Dobby's Garden Centre at Ponteal years ago, Alan.
Wow, how about that?
Because she was kind to me, mind, when she used to take us on these Tyler cars, mind, for me dinner when I was with me dad years ago in 2014.
Right.
She was a lovely person as well. She did everything for us.
Right.
Alan, this week's flowing, and on Tuesday it's Pancake Tuesday.
It is, that's right. I mean, are you going to get somebody to cook you some pancakes, are you?
I would think so, and this Saturday's the 29th of February, leap year day, when a woman can ask a man to marry.
That's right. Do you think lots of women are going to ask you to marry them?
Well, I don't know, because I'm looking forward to the Olympics this year in Tokyo, Japan. And the next 4 year, it'll be at France.
That's right.
2024. 2028, it's at Los Angeles, where it was in 1984.
Well, there you go. How about that? Amazing.
Yes, so how are you, Alan?
I'm all right, thank you very much. I'm champion, thank you very much.
And I'll tell you what else I've been doing at work. I've been making some lovely cakes at work, and I had my pinny on and my overall on, and I made some lovely cakes with Julie Parkinson. And she's asking after you, Julie Parkinson.
But I thought you made the cakes with Julie Parkinson.
Yes, I did. I made the cakes with Julie Parkinson.
Is she all right then? I mean, you put her in the recipe, did you?
Yes, and her birthday is the 27th of December.
Oh, well, how about that? Who'd have thought?
Because you saw at the Great North Run last year, Alan.
That's right, and we'll be doing that again this year, so...
Because it's the 13th of September, the Great North Run.
It is, because it's the 40th one as well, so it's very special.
I think Mo Farrell win again.
You think?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, well, he's got a fair chance on him,
I don't know who's going to win Wimbledon this year, Alan, but I think it'll be Djokovic again. And I know who. I think he'll win the ladies. Well, I hope it's Coco Gauff, because she tried every bit last year and she did well to get into the last 16, and she'll be 16 this year, mine's Coco Gauff.
So you reckon she's a one to watch? You reckon?
I don't think Serena Williams will win anymore. You never know, but you don't know. There's some good players out there now.
There is.
You don't know what they're going to be like on the day.
No, that's right. You're absolutely
I don't think Andy Murray will win anymore, Alan.
No.
You think he's had a lot of injuries.
His bolt is shot, you think? Right, okay.
So I've had a good week, Alan.
You've had a very good week. You've had a better week than most of the rest of us, that's for sure.
So before I go, I'll say me hellos. I'll be going for me happy goodbyes. I'll be with to the Alligator Club at the Sonic Hall on Friday.
Ah, you see, you're so busy.
Yes, I will, and I'm joining the Carry On Ski Radio with Placky Bag on the Thursday, and also I've had a good week. Right. This week's flying, Alan, and Easter is the 10th of April, Good Friday.
Right. Makes absolute sense. Hey, well, have a lovely week. Do you want to say hello to anybody then, Neil, while you're on?
I'm going to say hello. Wendy from Widrington, Wendy from Widrington, Tommy from Widrington, Dora from Bedlington, Arthur from Bedlington, Ken from Hatston, Angela from Bedlington, Linda from Barrowsford, Jean from Reckington, and Ian from Whitburn, Alex the DJ Placky Bag,
Right.
and everyone at Bedlington Day Centre, and all the night owls in the world.
Rock. Well done, Neil. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Alan.
There's our Neil. You see, he's champion. I just wish we all could have as happy a life as Neil. That would be great, wouldn't it? 01914 88 3188. Safe and sound and all those kind of things. It would be tremendous if possible.
Alan Robson's Night Owls.
The phone-in that gets you talking.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And we are off to John, who's in Monkseaton, who's organising a free holiday show, apparently. Hello, John.
Good evening, Alan. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for ringing in. Now, you work with Destinations by George.
Yes, we're a travel agent in Monkseaton, opposite the Monkseaton Arms there. And we're having our second annual holiday show this Thursday down at the Spanish City.
Oh, excellent. What a place to choose. I mean, that's a magnificent building there.
It is there. And we're upstairs in the St Mary's Lighthouse suite from 4:30 to 7:30.
Right.
The views from there are really spectacular down the coast.
Now, right, okay. I've been to a holiday show. I actually went, just coincidentally, I was in Glasgow when the television programme, what's it called? Something Abroad. The ones they do where they try and find houses for people overseas. Anyway, it was the TV show, and I happened to be in the SEC at the time.
Right.
And I thought, I'll have a look in there. And, it's how do you find a holiday home or a real home in a foreign country? And it was particularly not so much a holiday show, it was more how you buy houses abroad or holiday homes.
Yeah.
So
we aren't like that. We're totally not like that. We have the likes of Jet2 holidays, which everybody will know.
Yeah.
Wendy Wu tours. We'll have cruise lines like Celebrity, Tours, Saga, Riviera Travel, Emirates Holidays, and for Coach Holidays, we'll have the brilliant Alpha Travel, who do pickups around the region, including Whitley Bay.
Right.
So we've got household names. It's not about selling anything to anybody, buying a house or anything like that. It's so people can meet the suppliers. They can also win 2 flights with Logan Air. And for the kiddies and young at heart, we've even got free face painting.
Fantastic. But, I mean, bottom line is, when it comes to holidays, I know a lot of people are creatures of habits. They go where they've been. They use who they used the last time. They do that kind of thing. Why should they come to a holiday show then? What are the advantages of it?
Well, the advantages of it is often special offers. It's to talk to the suppliers firsthand, to see what's new, what's going on. We've got Newcastle Airport there, so they can talk about the new routes. You can pinch all the pens as well as you go around, which is one reason to turn up early. And find out what's new, because we're finding that people are broadening the horizons now. They're looking to do things more adventurous. A lot of people, until obviously the recent problems, but Asia is very high on the agenda. We've got a lot of cruise clients and a lot of people that like to do Africa or safari. They're looking for the bucket list holidays and things they can't do themselves. They want put together.
So what's that? I mean, what's the trend? Is there a new place opening up that everybody's battling to get to?
It's been, for the last 2 years, Asia's Thailand, Vietnam have become more and more popular.
But I would have thought that's so much money it would be something that would put people off.
No, it's not. It's when you look at places like Thailand, the prices are reasonably, very, very good. The thing is, you can do it several ways. You can fly and flop, so you just go to one of the resorts and you chill out. And the hotels out there are very, very good and very cheap. or you can do an organised tour, which obviously puts the price up depending on what you want to do. Yeah. And the other big thing that's ticking a lot of boxes at the minute is river cruise, whether you do those in Europe or you do them long haul to China, what's popular, and those sort of places.
Because the river cruises get advertised a lot on TV, so presumably that helps move seats on board. Talking about travel, where is the number one from the northeast then? You know, where the vast majority of our people go?
Well, the biggest ones, obviously, you've got the Canaries and Spain, depending on the time of year. Yeah. But that's what we get a lot of bookings for with families and people that are going away 2 or 3 times a year. But after that, it is long haul with us, or putting things together. I've got a gentleman just giving his tickets who's doing a round-the-world trip. Wow. And we'll put that all together for him. So to us, we can have somebody walk in that just wants 2 weeks in Mallorca, or, as they right to the other end of the scale, but they want to sit down and talk to a person. They don't want to do it on the internet. They want somebody they can talk to who'll do all the work. And that's why we bring the suppliers to the area, so people can actually get to speak to them face to face.
No, I think the one thing that we're not very good at in general, and I mean, I think this is a great event, it's just change. We're creatures of habit, and it costs us, because it's like, well, I'll go with the car people that have put the bill up 150 quid this year, but I'll go with them because I've been with them now for 10 years. Instead of thinking, well, hang on a second, then first of all, there might be somewhere else that's amazing, that's a really good price, with another company that I've never even thought about yet. And the only way you'll find that out is not by just sitting flicking, like people do on the internet. It's go to a show like this, talk to the people concerned, see what's there, and find out if there's something that tweaks your interest. And because I know a lot of people that have gone to holiday shows like this, and they come away thinking, well, I was going to go back to where I've been 24 times, but they've got this deal on, and it's somewhere that you would never expect. Yeah. And because there are holidays there to be had. I mean, it's not just a show saying, well, meet Mr. Newcastle Airport. There's holidays there for people to have, and destinations to consider, and they can book up on the day, I would imagine.
Yeah, you can book up on the Thursday night, or we can follow up on the Friday, Saturday, and we've been opening on Sunday mornings up until this Sunday's our last one of the season. But we've got things for everybody, right through from, as I say, Jet2, who have a whole range of holidays, obviously, and they're big from the northeast. And if anybody books a Jet2 with us, we print their boarding passes out and everything. So when they get the final paperwork, they just rock up at the airport, drop the bags off, and they're through to departures.
How easy is that?
Yeah.
That's
and we've got Emirates. Obviously, the daily flight to Dubai is massive. So we've got Emirates Holidays with us, and you can connect through to the rest of the world from, going that way via Dubai. It's a fantastic service.
So do tell then, we want your personal favourite place you've been then, because I would imagine doing a job like that, you'll have covered a few miles.
Oh, yeah. It's different. It's horses for courses, really, isn't it? If you're looking at a city, I suppose Venice is one of the most beautiful cities been to. Yeah. If you're looking for a different experience, Yellowstone Park. Seeing all the animals, to go about May, been there several times, where you're very close to the bison and all the animals. Right. And going to New Zealand, where it's like Britain was, but years ago. Yeah. So it's a bit like stepping back in time. So it's different parts, and obviously if you've got kids, you can't top Florida and Walt Disney World.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Is that still as popular as ever?
Oh yes, Walt Disney World, and you've got all the new parks. You've got Universal opening another park, and
Islands of Adventures, and then
you can stay there, and you can go to the coast and do a 3 or 4 day cruise to the Bahamas, or go to down the coast, split it, have a week in the park, and a week down on the sand. So there's plenty of opportunity.
No, for sure. Hey, well, good luck with it, John. Tell everybody when it is. Give your last plug, go on.
It's this Thursday. That's the 27th of February, 4:30 till 7:30, upstairs in the Spanish City. Free entry, free face painting, and a host of supplies like Jet2 holidays, celebrity cruises, Wendy Wu tours, Riviera travel, and Emirates holidays, and loads more.
It's all good. Thank you very
Brilliant.
much, man.
I appreciate the time.
No worries. Have a good time. Enjoy.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. There's John in Monkseat. Let's hope he gets a good crowd down there. Those kind of shows do surprise you, though, because you probably end up thinking just, I was determined to go back to that hotel that I've been to 4 times. And then you think, well, hang on, there's a whole world out there. And that gives you the benefit of other people's knowledge, and you can find out the price straight away, and they can tell you about the hotels because they've been there and stayed in them. It's quite a cool idea. Now, Chris is with us. He's in Hexham. Hi, Chris.
Hello.
Hello, mate. What can we do for you tonight?
That's the first time caller.
Hey! It's a tradition.
Yeah,
Let's keep it going.
Been a fan for over 20 years.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
It's just about the Grizzly tales.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, I'd be interested in going along.
Oh, great. Okay. Hey, well, fantastic. If you fancy it, I'll meet you on the night. No worries about that. So, a fan of the weirdness esoteric, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so what got you into all of that? What sounds like it's probably me.
Yeah, it shows about the Chillingham Castle.
Yeah, back in that, blimey, what a place. It's still as interesting today as it's ever been. It's one of those places that... Have you ever been up there?
I've been to Chillingham, yeah, but I haven't done a ghost hunt up there.
Just the daytime?
Just daytime.
Look around. You can never really quite understand what it's like, because whenever we do a ghost hunt, what I tend to do is I take people in the back route, which is down the side of the castle, not along the main road, you know, the Devil's Mile that you could come in through the main gate. I take them around the side, and if you walk up from the back, you're walking essentially through woodland, and then all of a sudden, poof, right in front of you, you see this in the dark monument, this huge castle, and built essentially to kill people and to make them uncomfortable. Absolutely amazing place. And it's also the kind of place that, I have to say, kind of likes to do little tricks on you, little ghosty things. Don't know whether you got anything during the day. It's awkward during the day because the castle's full of other people. You know, you hear them talking and moving things and making noises. But no, it's a castle that's certainly up for it in my experience. But glad you liked them. Anything else then, Chris?
Are you going to ghost hunt at Chillingham?
Well, I mean, I'll always find myself drawn back to Chillingham. I mean, as soon as we start doing, if I get a week's worth of shows again, we'll be doing all that kind of stuff. That was kind of part of the plan. So fingers crossed that happens. Chillingham's always going to beckon me back, because every time I go there, it kind of welcomes me by showing me or the people that I'm with stuff. I mean, I remember once the BBC came up and they said, we want to use you in a show about the Metro Centre, because the radio station at the time was right next door. And they said, you do all this ghost stuff, we don't believe in it. And I says, well, why don't I take you to a castle then? And they went, well, I will take the camera, but we'll not see anything. And as soon as we went into, and it's probably a room you went into when you were there, the King Edward room.
Yeah, that room.
It's up a tower, and there's a suit of armour. There's a little bed on the left hand side, and there's a balcony above it that you may recall. There's bats in there as well, which that just adds the atmosphere of the whole thing. But when I took the BBC in there, they heard buzzing, and they went along to the window that's on your right-hand side, and there was about a good 500 to 600 blue bottles. Now, first of all, I don't know how you would ever get together 500 or 600 blue bottles, all in one place, all on one window, all at one time. But it was really spooky. We opened the door, all these things, they were flying around the window and then dropping on their backs and then waving their legs in the air, like some kind of new weird dance. And the BBC filmed it and said, what the hell's going on here? Then one of them heard footsteps across the balcony above their head. So then they quickly switched the camera around, away from the blue bottles. and the blue bottles disappeared. And they've got that on camera. And they said, but how do you... OK, you've got 600 blue bottles. How do you get them out of a room? All in, Because, I mean, face it, if you open the door, they're not all going to say, the door's open now, lads. Let's all fly through the door. You'd imagine maybe you'd lose a couple. But by the time they brought the camera back down to that window, there was no blue bottles there. And I don't know how you could replicate that. If you were trying to, if you were using Hollywood techniques. Okay, bring in another 600 blue bottles. It was just a bizarre and weird thing. And mind you, I must admit, when we got outside and the guys were going, I would never believe anything like that could possibly happen. At that moment, the bushes parted, and the guy who owns the castle, Sir Humphrey Wakefield, riding bareback on a horse, just rides out of the bush in between the BBC people, throwing them in. They almost ended up in the bushes with their cameras. Hello, Alan, how are you doing? And it's like, whoa, hang on, it's one of those unbelievably wacky, the kind of place you'd only ever find in Britain. Do you know what I mean? It's us all over the place. A mad, crazy building with dead things in it, and a guy who knows the score and who's frankly as wacky as the castle is. And we love him for that. Brilliant. Anything else we can do for you, Chris?
No, that's it, thanks.
No worries. Thank you for coming on. Short, sweet, loves the Grizzlies. Good stuff. We'll keep delivering some dark and weird tales for you. Have no doubt about that. Don't forget, we got the podcast out there too. Spread the word of that if you're interested in all that kind of thing. Now let's go to Melanie. We're going to take a break, a piece of music after Melanie, and then we'll talk to Brian immediately on the back end of that. But Melanie's from Middlesbrough. I think she's been doing some ghostly habnabs too. Hi, Melanie.
Hello.
Hello, darling. I gather you've been out hunting for dead people.
Yes, we went to Mary Queen of Scots' house yesterday.
Jedburgh?
Up at Jedburgh, yep.
Right. How was it?
It was absolutely amazing. It was a paranormal investigator's dream last night, and I can honestly say that it's the best that I've ever been on, but to match that, I think it's going to be very, very hard.
Right, but that's great, as long as you get something that sets the bar kind of thing, and that sounds like what you've had. Now, Mary Queen of Scots was in Jedburgh for a little while. Explain what the house is like.
What she is like as a person, or generally like?
No, what the house is like, because I know it's a listed building, and I think it's 16th century probably, and she stayed there for a few weeks in 1566.
That's correct.
Then they opened the building up to the public and kind of made it Queen Mary's house. Now, she was only there like on her holidays, really, because it was just a couple of weeks. But they've really done a good job of the place. I mean, it really is in keeping, isn't it?
It's fabulous. It's taken over a few floors. You've got the ground floor where you have all of the visitor centre. You've got the first floor where they have a banqueting hall. And then on the second floor, they've got the Queen's chamber. Right. And you've got a guard room. And then on the third floor, you've got a maid's room at the top.
I mean,
quite a lot of build.
It looks like a hugely imposing kind of building. I know there's a little tower room somewhere as well.
Yes.
The thing that I like best about it is loads of nooks and crannies, because it's not the biggest house in the, if you think about it, to get round, you can get round it quite quickly, but there's loads of little nooks and crannies and darkened corners and all the stuff you'd expect from something around that time.
It is. I mean, it's perfect, really, for investigations, because you've got the smaller rooms and you've got the different levels. So you can, if you've got very small groups, you can go around the building and get very, very few, very little contamination.
No, the thing, they've got a copy, I think, I may be wrong, but have they got a copy of a death mask as well?
Yes, they have. That's on the second floor, I think.
Because that's a creepy thing.
It is.
I know she was beautiful though. I mean, if the mask, and I think the mask, paintings tend not to do her justice. The mask, she's a beautiful young woman. Obviously, when she went, So what happened then? Come on, you've got this amazing building. It's Jedburgh, which is essentially probably about 25 minutes from Berwick. What happened and where did it happen?
Well,
Tell us everything.
We took 11 people with us. We had 3 investigators, 4 new people and 4 regulars. So we only have small groups. So we had a group of really 8 customers.
Right.
And we would have normally split off with 11 people into 2 groups. But we decided, because it was, even though you were on separate floors, you could get quite a lot of contamination with noise.
Sure. Yeah, that's the
So
worry.
we decided to keep together. Plus, we had somebody also videoing. Rob was videoing around the building as well.
Right.
So he was going to be taking up another room. So we started off all together. And we started off on the 2nd floor. And we went into into one of the chambers in the building. And we almost instantly got, I'd say maybe about 5 minutes, we started to get a temperature change.
Right.
Which it fluctuated from, I think it was around about 8.8 to, it must have been about down to 6 or 7.
Right.
Sorry, 6 points. So I have the exact
reading. It's fine.
readings.
Right.
We have the exact readings. One of our investigators was actually doing that at the time.
Right.
And that went down significantly, maybe 2 or 3 degrees drop within as many minutes.
Right.
And we also got a very strong smell of lavender and eucalyptus that all the group were witnessing this. And then also there was an eggy smell, or turnips. Some people were thinking of turnips.
Right.
So that was the first thing. And then I was videoing later on with Rob on the same level. It's actually in the same room. And as he was videoing me, he seen some orbs on his camera.
Right.
But then shortly after that, as we were talking about the orbs, we heard the rustle of the door, which it sounded like somebody's trying to get in the door. So I went to see if there was anybody around. Nobody was in the room next door. I also looked to see if the other door was open, to see if it was a draft. There was nothing there.
Right.
So we tried to step on the floorboards and things like that to see if it was any of that.
Yeah. See if you could make it happen again, right?
Debunk it, basically, just to see if we could recreate that, which we couldn't.
Yeah.
And we went back into the room next door to that and just started to pick up some equipment because we were going to move on to a different area. And within the different area, as we were wandering about and just doing things, we heard the noise again.
Right.
And we tried to recreate the noise, and we found out it was the handle on the door.
Right.
And we couldn't explain that at all. So that was the first thing. Then we had a grid pen that we'd set up all the group around. And, I mean, bearing in mind all of these things are going to be witnessed by the whole group.
Right.
And the grid pen was going off on command, coming back on command. And we must have done that. We did that for several minutes, extended it about 10 to 15 minutes. Answering questions, which is not really heard of very
no,
very much, because it was literally going off, going dead, then coming back on. It was just amazing. And then we had a thermal image camera. On our thermal image camera, we had figures. We had 2 figures that looked like it was in the fireplace in the guards' room that were cuddling. We've got images of that we'll put on our website in the next couple of days.
Great.
We caught an EVP. That we had an investigator that was going on the table tipping. Not much happened with table tipping and a Ouija board, but as she put her hand onto the table to do table tipping, she felt like a jolt, and she went hysterical all of a sudden. I've never seen her like that before. She just went hysterical and started screaming and holding her head.
Right.
And I thought, what on earth has gone on? And she got a pain in her ear. She felt like she was attacked by something, and she basically had to leave the building for a little bit so she calmed down to get out of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And she believed that she was attacked by something within the building. That was Jane, our investigator. And when she came back in, she settled herself down. We did the EVP shortly after. And on the EVP, one of the things that one of the guests sat down and was asking questions away from the group, but we were in the same room all witnessing this. And she asked what the name of the person was, and it said Ben. Now, Ben is not really, you would expect Benjamin rather than Ben, but it was Ben that came through, and it's a very, very clear EVP. We do have that on our website at the moment. And also we got a second EVP that said we're sorry. The words "we're sorry," so it may indicate that they were sorry for hurting Jane in the process of our investigation. But we also had other things happen during the night as well. So we had the lavender and eucalyptus smell, the eggy smell. We could hear dogs. This was witnessed by the whole group as well.
These were dogs inside, not outside, though.
Shadow figures of dogs. The guests witnessed growling. There was several growls in the guards' room where we were doing the human pendulum, and the room beside it, you could hear growls coming from there. It was just a very, very active night, and we'll probably never have an active night like that again, because sometimes you can go in a building and you get absolutely nothing.
Nothing, for sure. I would mind you, I don't know whether this is of any use to you, because you know what you saw and you all saw it together, but, we're talking, this was 1500s or whatever.
Yes.
But I know, because when I did the research on the building myself for us doing stuff on it, I did find out that about 200 years later, the house used to be owned by a guy called Lindsay. He was a doctor, and he had his wife living there with 3 dogs.
That would make a lot of sense then.
So they had daughters, apparently, and the daughters worked for Rob. This sounds like well, that's impossible. That would never happen. If memory serves, and I'd need this checked, but I'm fairly sure. You know Robbie Burns, the poet, the Scottish poet.
Yes.
This doctor's daughters were guides for him when he came to stay in Jedburgh himself, and the daughters, apparently there were 3 daughters, and each one wanted a dog, but they wanted their own dog, so they ended up with 3 daughters, 3 dogs. And so if you are seeing dogs in there, the house has been used for that purpose. That was the only thing I could add to what you've already had, which sounds like you had a hell of a time. And I know exactly what you mean, because we've done entire shows for 4 hours and nothing's happened. So we've not been able to put the show out because, it's like... nothing to see here. Move on.
Well, exactly. That's what you get. Sometimes you get absolutely nothing, or you only get a few bits.
Yeah.
It was just active all night, and we know that we're not going to be able to recreate that again because it's once in a lifetime thing.
It's great that it did, but the fact that it happened leads you to want to go and do the next one and hope that it happens again. That's the thing.
Absolutely.
I know. Hey, fantastic, Melanie. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
No worries. Anything else, Alan?
Sorry?
Anything else?
No.
That was lovely. No, thank you for sharing. There you go, Melanie in Middlesbrough, visiting Mary, Queen of Scots house in Jedburgh. Easy place to get to as well. It's like a tower house, kind of. It's not a castle. It's very much a statement property from back in the day. And she stayed there for a couple of weeks, holding court. And again, from the research that I did, the amount of money to stay there for the 2-3 weeks that she was there, 40 quid. There you go, 40 quid. But that was back then, which is probably worth a damn sight more. Anyway, quick piece of music, I think. And we have Brian from Gateshead coming up very, very soon indeed. Now, when we say music, promised you this a little bit earlier. It's that amazing session from Gabrielle. Enjoy. No, I believe it. And amazing. Remember when Gabrielle came in to do that? She had 2 or 3 young ladies with her and a guy who'd play the guitar. And I instantly thought the girls were obviously like her friends, maybe members of her family hanging out with her. And as soon as the session started, they all whipped their duffel coats and their woolly hats off, and they sounded like that. How good is it? You only get it in one place, on the Night Owls, of course. Talking to Brian in Gateshead immediately after this.
Call Alan Robson's Night Owls now.
0191 488 3188.
This is real-life conversation with the voice of the North.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Now, we promised you Brian. Here is the very man. Hello, Brian.
Hi, Alan.
Hello,
I've
mate.
got a few quick things to talk about.
Okay, go for it. Do it.
The boxing. Did you hear anything about the boxing? I don't suppose you watched it. It was on at 5 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, no, I did see. I saw the replay of it this morning on YouTube. Is what I got. But
right.
But yeah, it's what a battle.
Yeah. I watched it around my cousin's house. It was really good. We stayed up to listen to the commentary. We watched it. I was really tired.
How did you stay up? Because every time that I've tried to do something like that, when they say, "Oh, I tell you what, we'll stay up for the Super Bowl. It's on at 3 o'clock," and by the time you get there,
ourselves entertained. You know what I mean? We just did different things. Watched a few films beforehand, and had a few cans and stuff, and something to eat and everything. So quite awake. Yeah. Yeah, it was really, really enjoyable. I think the thing is, right, the other fella who's the British, world champion, Anthony Joshua, he's got 4 belts, hasn't he?
Yes.
He's a great ambassador for him. He's a really friendly person. He hasn't got a bad word to say about anybody. But I think if he takes on Tyson Fury, I think that he's going to probably lose his belt because he hasn't got that instinct, to destroy people in the ring.
Right.
Even though he's a very skilled boxer, don't get me wrong, Alan, he's a very skilled boxer. He's such a nice person, do you know what I mean? He's always friendly on the TV, he's well liked by everybody. And like I say, Tyson Fury, I wasn't really a big, massive fan, but obviously I've come round to like him because obviously he's a kind of a guy of the people. He speaks his mind, he's had a lot of problems in his life. And he's managed to get himself back in the driving seat, do you know what I mean? From being on drugs and having a lot of mental health issues with his life and stuff. So yeah, I think he's probably going to end up being one of the greatest boxers of all time. I think he's going to sadly take the belts off AJ. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I just wonder what you thought about that.
Well, the only thing that I would say about it is you have had previously, people like Tyson, who was a beast. You had people prior to that, like Joe Frazier, who was a beast. They're proper tough men. But Muhammad Ali wasn't like that. I mean, he was a decent, funny lad with a wisecrack and, all the way through. So good guys can win it. You just don't think that Joshua's got what it takes to deal with Tyson. Not the instinct to put Tyson Fury away. I think the guy's completely he's quite ruthless and that. And when you watch him in the boxing match yesterday, this morning, he kind of dominated, Deontay Wilder. He kind of dominated and pushed him around the ring quite a lot. And then when he whacked him in the side of the head, he kind of lost his coordination a bit with his ear, the balance and stuff. So obviously they threw the towel in and stuff. But I think he's going to be around for a very long time. The Gypsy King, they call him, don't they? Yeah, he's going to be around for quite a long time. And I think he's going to, go down in history as one of the greatest. Well, time will tell. He's got a little way to go before people can really be sure of that, but he's done all the right things. So, you can knock some of the things that he said, because he said some dumb things in the past. But bottom line is, put him in a ring, he's an animal. He is. He wants the guy down, and that's what he goes for. And
absolutely.
How do you answer this thing, though? Because a lot of people say, "Oh, it's we shouldn't even have boxing as a sport anymore. It's like going back to the Colosseum. We're sticking the Christians in with the lions. You want to see blood. You want to see somebody hurt. Is that the case?"
Well, no, really. It's an art, isn't it? It's an art form. So the guys who are in the ring, they've been trained up. They've been trained up, and they've got proper professional trainers, and they obviously spar with other people. So they're kind of used to being like clouted and thumped. Do you know what I mean? So to me, mind you, having said that, I'm not too keen on women boxers. I don't like the idea of women being smashed in the head and everything. Do you know what I mean? There's a couple of females out there who are really
when you say it's an art form, there'll be some that you see, and I kind of agree that the seeing. And again, just to go back to Ali, when I was a little boy, I remember sitting, with me dad, watching this guy skip around the ring with a beautiful face for a man, and nobody was going to give him a black eye or a bloody nose or a cauliflower ear or all of the other stuff that boxers get. It was an art form with him. But is what Tyson Fury does an art form? Because to me, it looked as near to what you'd consider if that was in a street, it would be assault, wouldn't it?
He is like he does. Like I say, he can box, but obviously he's a bit of a street. I would say, because he's like family. Being a gypsy and that. He tells everybody he's been like brought up. There's 10 generations of his family who have been like in the boxing like scene. So obviously he is a bit of a, I wouldn't call him a gypsy, whatever. He'd take your head off.
Right.
So I wouldn't say anything.
I think he's probably proud of it. I mean, it's his family.
Craigie's 37 foot tall and he's massive. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't mess about with him. Do you know what I mean? But I think he's going to go far, Alan. Do you know what I mean? I really do think he's going to go far.
Okay. Hey,
and I think he's going to,
We'll see what the Owls have to say about it. That'd be interesting. Anything else?
Yeah, quickly, a couple of quick things as well.
Okay.
The other week I was on the train, Alan, going up towards Kingston Park, and I got on the train, sat down. A couple of Chinese students got on the train. Chinese lasses from the university types. Anyway, you can tell they're got these bags and clipboards and stuff. And they sat down, and everybody bloody got up and cleared off. And I was kind of sitting there, and I was thinking to myself, do I get up and move, or should I sit here in solidarity and just be normal? So in the end, I just sat there. But honestly, everybody just got up and moved on the other end of the carriage. I mean, it was just crazy. They're all thinking about that.
Coronavirus.
The coronavirus, yeah. And I'm just thinking, people are going really silly about it. I mean, I read an article in one of the newspapers that somebody spat in this girl's glasses. Another Chinese female come out of uni on dinner break, walking past. I mean, someone just ran up and spat in her face. I mean, went all over her glasses, and I think, what the hell's going on with people? Why?
Well, you see, what that thick person did was exactly the kind of thing you'd probably need to do to catch the virus in the first place. Passing on a bodily fluid. Could be sweat, could be spit, could be whatever. But the other thing that people don't realise, and everybody takes for granted, or they look Chinese. Trust me, I can't tell the difference between somebody that's been born in Korea, Cambodia, Thailand, Malaysia, China, Japan. We've got thousands of people from Japan. And, you say, they're Chinese. Who knows what they were? I mean, first of all, they might be British. And I know you say we're not short of students from the Far East in the northern cities. We've got plenty, and thank heavens for it, because they're making us millions every year. But
they're bringing money into the area.
But the bottom line is, we've got no idea whether they were born here or whether they were born in America. Whether it's just, you take it for granted, and it's usually a mistake. But I feel sorry for anybody that gets picked on and stereotyped in the same sort of way. But I hope you didn't move anyway. And
just one more thing before I go, Alan. Quickly about the Boris Johnson. Let's get Brexit done. When it comes to the flood, let's get nothing done. He's been hiding away for the last 9 days, and obviously I've been watching the TV places like Shropshire, Telford, Bewdley, places that are on the River Wye, on the River Severn, have been completely flooded out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there seems to be a lot of stress. And where's the Tories? They voted the Tories in, so why aren't the Tories helping these communities? Do you know what I mean?
That's a good question. I must admit that if you live in an area that doesn't flood, you can kind of say, I'm hearing all of this, but it can't be as bad as they say. I went just driving. I had an appointment on the far side of Scotland, so I drove right through the middle of the borders across to kind of the Dumfries area. And every river that I came to was overflowing into fields and on roads. And a lot of the roads I was driving through was 4 inches of water, and you're not sure where the road is and where it ends. And you're thinking, I'm on a road here, but there's a river somewhere. How do I make sure I don't come off the road? It's so easy. And fortunately, a vehicle went past me, showering you with all of that.
Oh, God.
Well, it washed the car because it was hacky. But secondly, at least it knew where the road was, so I was able slowly to kind of follow the path that it took. But it's and I thought there was one house, and there's farmers' fields around it, and a river at the bottom of the field. Now, the river had burst its banks. You couldn't see the field. It was water too. And then there was about a 6-inch step. And beyond the 6-inch step is the house, so like the front door and everything. And I'm thinking, I bet you the owner of that house is living on that back step. You know what I say? Is it getting deeper? Is it getting deeper? Please go down. Please go down. And watching the skies to see if it's going to rain again. Because it's terrifying to think that all of your worldly goods, because this was like a bungalow as well. It's not like we could take everything upstairs. They didn't have it upstairs. So just keeping a real close eye on it. But blimey, a lot of people...
At least Prince Charles turned up, Alan. You know what I mean? At least Prince Charles turned up, to Wales, and he was very sympathetic. So, I mean, people have to, congratulate him, because obviously he generally did go out there and care about people's situations. So, I mean, but where's the Prime Minister?
There you go. Anyway, interesting to see. But thank you for coming on, Brian. Lovely to hear from you, man.
Thanks, Alan.
Good job. Thank you. Do you agree that boxing's an art form? Is Tyson Fury the arty one? I'd be interested in your views. Anyway, we are heading off to Aaron. I'm never sure with this. It's either Aaron. I would go Aaron or Aaron. But let's find out from the man himself. Hi, Aaron.
Hello, it's Aaron, by the way.
I knew whichever one I went for would be the other one. But anyway, Aaron, good to talk to you, man. What do you want to talk about tonight?
Basically, I'm organising a summer fair in Brompton-on-Swale, which is North Yorkshire.
Yes, of course.
So I thought I'd have a little chat about that and just tell everyone what's going on and stuff.
Please do.
So at the event, we've got different sort of dance demonstrations going on. Right. We've got Fire Brigade coming along, the police coming along, a big fun fair from Thornborough's fun fair.
Right.
We've got a stage which will have the music acts on and bands.
Great.
Performing live. Hopefully we'll have a radio station as well, but I'm just in talks with a couple trying to get
somebody along. Great.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Lockie's Fish and Chips.
Yeah.
Mr. Whippy.
Yeah, Mr. Whippy as well.
You've got a lot. I mean, it's first of all, I love the idea of these things, because we did a week live in Yorkshire, in Richmond, in fact, not so very long ago, where we were telling the story of the real Robin Hood, who was in fact a Yorkshire lad, who's nothing to do with Nottingham, wrong county altogether, and it's a beautiful part of the world, and I can't think of anything nicer than going to a do like this, where everybody comes out and has a really good time. Fun fair, bit of a craft fair on there, stuff happening on the stage, stuff around you. Brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're hoping for. Hopefully it'll be a nice day and the sunshine will be out. Fingers crossed.
I gather you're going to... Are you doing the vintage car thing as well? Because that's always
we've
a success.
got a vintage car club coming along, so that should be good. Because obviously we've got pensioners and stuff in the local area, so that's something that they can enjoy and look at, because I know a couple of them in the area that have got like vintage cars, and that's the sort of their pride and joy, so it'll be nice, really.
No, fantastic, especially if you've got like fire engines and police and all that out there as well, to have a few other vehicles alongside them, because everybody loves looking at the old car that their dad or their granddad used to have. That's the thing. And you've got all the foods, the pizzas, the ice cream, fish and chips. Can't fail. Can't fail. When is it then?
So it's on the 12th of July.
12th of July, so we've got a bit of time, but it starts at 10 o'clock, it runs on till quite late.
Yeah.
Runs on till about, 7, 8 o'clock?
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay, cool. Brilliant. So that's Brompton-on-Swale. It's the Brompton Bash. Just remember it's happening, and if you fancy a couple of days away to enjoy some real proper entertainment in the middle of Yorkshire, you could do far worse. Lovely stuff. Thanks for talking to us, Aaron.
Thank you very much for inviting me onto the show.
Not a problem. Bless you, man. 0191 488 3188. Everybody's welcome. That's what we say. 0191 488 3188. Now, one thing I haven't done yet is give you your second clue. So I'm going to do that now. The answer is an island. Okay, we're looking for an island. I'm going to give you 4 clues, and you're going to tell me the name of the island. Okay, the first clue is horseshoe, vampire, or fruit are 3 types of what? The second clue is an anagram, and I know you hate anagrams, I'm sorry about that, but the anagram is of the word noir, like film noir, dark film. N-O-I-R, okay? N-O-I-R. It's an anagram of that, noir. 2 clues down, 2 more clues, and you will be. And by the time you get to the 3rd clue, you'll know what's what. Don't forget breakfast with Rossi tomorrow with the Morning Mouldy Mystery Oldie. Mark Goody is there with his greatest hits. Debbie Mack, the Big Money Call on Cash Superstars. Darren Proctor with Hometown Anthems at 4. Now, that's what I call a chart show. Mark Goody are back at 7 o'clock. And we've been doing the greatest hits, superstars, and Elton John is available to be heard. He's being interviewed by Taron Egerton, the star of the biopic Rocket Man. Really interesting chat. If you've missed any of it, it's now on the Greatest Hits app if you fancy giving it a gansy. Anyway, let us crack on. And we have Andrew, I think, from South Yorkshire. Hello, Andrew.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, mate. What you got for us all tonight?
Well, originally, just wanted to say, I'm from Sunderland originally, but we've moved down to Yorkshire for a while there now.
Right, whereabouts are you?
Just on the border of Rotherham and Barnsley.
Right, oh, sounds great.
And used to be a regular caller back in the day when I was in the northeast. You probably remember me in the story because you kept laughing whenever I told her when I broke my back parachute and landed on a
and you
rabbit.
landed on a rabbit. Who's ever lately going to forget that? Of course I remember. That's great. Hey, well, great to talk to you again, Andrew. I hope you're having a lovely life down there.
Yes, it's Connie. It's good to get back home every now and again, you know.
Fantastic.
But yes, basically just written with a wee ghost story of mine from a good few years back.
Okay.
I've always had an interest in the paranormal.
Mm.
And when I was about 15, 16 years there now, I went round to my mates with a record that came with my collection of the Unexplained magazine.
Right.
And it was a experiment in recording voices of the dead.
Right.
So I popped down to my mates and put it on for him to have a listen. And he's getting all spooked up by it, but thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
And we heard his mum shouting, because he used to keep pigeons in his backyard.
Right.
Will you stop walking in all this bloody sawdust? And he says, I've not been out, honest. So she hoovered it all up and we went back in the back room to watch some telly, and we heard she shouts again. She says, I've just told you and I've just hoovered. So we haven't been out. And I said, he hasn't. He's been sat here with me. Honest, he hasn't. Sure enough, there's these footprints from the hallway into the sitting room in sawdust. So I then went home and come back a bit later on in the day. And about a minute or so before I sort of knocked on the door, probably not even that, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, things started happening in the house again, banging it all in across the rooms in the house, and cold feelings and images of that you can't quite place, but senses walking past you. And my friend and mum said this went on for a couple of days, with me seeming to be, when I turned up on the doorstep, it then sort of tweaks. It's happening. When I'm going, it's stopping, which is really weird. And this went on for a few nights, getting worse and worse, especially with the banging of all the pipes and everything. There's definitely no one else in the rooms. And then the next day, my friend said, his mum actually told us the story, that night, about 3 in the morning, she woke up because she felt somebody had sort of shaken her. And she sat up in her bed, and in the end of the bed was this young girl in sort of Victorian type sort of garb that you'd expect them to wear, which was really spooky. So I left it at that, and then the next day I come in, about in the evening, as I was coming down the path, in the upper bedroom, which was his mum's room, there was this figure of a girl, but it looked like they were in the window, not, if you know what I mean. It didn't look like they were behind it, but actually in the glass. It was really weird.
Wow.
Just didn't look normal or right at all. Obviously went in, told his mum, and described what I was saying. She says, that's exactly the lassie that I saw on the end of my bed. And she says, look, how can I go on with this? Because especially at night, it's getting silly now. So she's quite religious, went and had a word with her vicar chap or whoever they say.
Yeah.
And he come down to bless the house and bless me, because he said, because I had such an interest in the paranormal, I was used as a gateway into this side, which you get a 14, 15-year-old lad, it's quite serious as that, like, even though I had an interest in the subject.
You are the portal.
And so he's splashing his water and doing his thing, and literally there was 4 of us in this room, and as he was doing these footprints out of sawdust basically walked up out of the room and into the hallway, and then through the wall to where we'll take them to the back utility sort of space where he had the pigeons. And like I say, if I hadn't seen it myself, and I had 3 other people to vouch for that, I would never have believed it, even seen it there. And sure enough, after a couple of days, things started all really calming down, so great. And I was the editor of the school newspaper in Pinder, in Eastfield, Scarborough, where I used to, I was a teenager at. So we did a bit of story on that, and the local paper got wind of it, so they did a piece. And then a couple of days later, the National Press Association got in touch. So, we'll do a bit of a story, all a bit of a laughing joke for us. So anyway, the reporter come down, and whether or not my mate had either not told his mum or forgot to tell his mum, cameraman's taking photos of us going down down to the front door, and for some reason they wanted us to do a photo of just us sort of peeking through the letterbox for whatever reason, artistically. And then all we heard this mighty scream from inside the house. And it was his mum. She just walked from the dining room into the hallway and just saw these eyes looking through this letterbox.
Excellent.
Some of the things I can't probably pronounce on the radio.
I can imagine.
Come out and obviously, what's going on in a probably not quite so polite way. And obviously very quickly proceeded to shoo off this reporter and where you getting that in the national. So, but yes,
brilliant.
If I hadn't seen it myself, and other people who were there, and somebody as trustworthy as you would assume is a vicar, you would never have believed it. And to this day, I still can't comprehend what I was seeing. But it was at the time.
Well, this is it, though. You've got to experience it yourself, though, or you won't believe stuff like this.
Like I say, it was just no logic. It's like, where the heck did this sawdust go? It was there and then it was gone.
Absolutely.
It wasn't just sort of like a little bit. You could see the footprints as they walked out the room, as if somebody was there and heavily.
And then wasn't.
And then just went. I can't give it an explanation. And I would never have believed it if I hadn't seen it.
No,
it's good. Thankfully, there was others there who, verified that.
Perfect. Nice one. Tremendous. Great story, Andrew. Anything else, mate?
Well, just as a quick one, we went up to Cheltenham the year back from our anniversary. And we were in one of the rooms. I don't know, I can't remember the room it was now. It was the courtroom, I think, the wife says. And we were in this room. There's a cupboard or a door up in the higher wall. And every so often it was just opening on its own, not just a creak a bit. It was opening up a good few inches and then shutting again. So that was the only weird thing we had there. But the wife did go around in the early hours of the morning, sat in the oubliette and quite disappointed because she didn't experience anything.
No.
But the following night, we went on the tour with the team who were there. I can't remember what room it was, but it was one of the ones right at the top of like one of the towers. My wife thinks it's the King Edward room or something.
Yeah, the Edward room. That's famous.
And when we went in, I started feeling really, really bad, really intense pressure headaches. And I literally had to sit down on the chair. It was so bad, I really thought I was going to throw up. I don't know why, but as soon as we left the room, everything was right as rain again. And we carried on round to the rest of the place, being told what was going on and whatnot. And then we went into this sort of, I don't know, described a little chapel. And there was we were all sat in the pews.
Yeah.
And I was off to the side, just behind where I believe it was possibly some bones of a child were found, I believe, or something.
Right. Yes. In the wall.
Yes. And while he was telling us the story, he sort of dimmed all the lights, and there was a couple to my left on the parallel to us on these chairs. And I was looking down at the feet, but I couldn't see their feet. It was actually the small feet of a child. And this lassie looked really distressed about something. She was obviously talking to her partner. And I said, as we come out of that room and went down into the cafe area, I spoke to them, and he said she didn't know why, but she just suddenly became really emotional. And I says, well, while you were doing that, I was seeing, instead of your feet, or I could see your feet, but as if they were almost sitting on top of your feet, these, like, it looked a bit red, was a bit hard to see with the darkened light.
Sure.
Or certainly of a child, anyway. So that was really freaky, but other than that, that's the two. So it was good to be sort of, to get in there and experience something, because the wife had been walking around all night.
The problem with
experienced it.
The problem with Chillingham seems to be that because of the reputation it's got, a lot of people go there expecting it to be like Ghostbusters, and along one corridor there's going to be a ghost eating hot dogs, like the film. It's not quite like that, but when you do get something happening, it doesn't half hit you like it hit you when you were feeling the angst of a room. I try and explain sometimes. You get this belly thing that just happens where your gut responds to the same kind of fear and whatever was going on in that room in days gone by. And it's absolutely the case, and you got it based. Hey, but great to catch up, Andrew. Stay well, mate, and thank you for getting back with us. Hope we'll talk again.
I look forward to hopefully getting tickets for the bus tour thing, because I've got a hobby in the buses as well, so that'll be kill two birds with one stone.
There you go, boom. Good, so well, I hope to see you. Thank you, man. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There you are. People just want to believe that there's something more there. Easter says, hi, oi, Savaloy. I've got a new phone. Did it work? No, Easter, it didn't. Then he sent, OMG, if it did, I've just made beef pie and sausage rolls just to get me hungry, because I always am on a Sunday night. Going to talk to one more person, have a quick piece of music, and then I think it's time for tonight's blah. Now, this is a lady called Victoria Collingwood. Now, she's a self-published author. She's got her debut book coming out. It's called Anna Lee is Coming of Age, and it's set in Teesside. Let's talk to Victoria. Hello, Victoria.
Hello, Alan.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very, very well. Congratulations on the book. Blimey, how long did that take you?
3 years from start to finish. From first sort of getting the first ideas, and then a few moments later put pen to paper, and eventually self-published just before Christmas, like this Christmas gone.
Excellent. I mean, is it a true story? Is it fiction? What is it?
Oh, no. It's completely fiction. It's set in Teesside, because obviously I'm Middlesbrough born and bred. It's actually set in my hometown of primarily Eston, Normanby area. There is a very, very poignant scene in the Metro Centre in Gateshead. But it's just a story of a young girl. She's 16, and at the beginning of the story, she's waking up from her morning after the night before experience at her first ever house party.
Right.
And then she, feeling very, very worse for wear, travels home. She finds her brother there, who doesn't actually live at home. He's got his own place. He's a much older brother. He's 21. She's 16.
Right.
The parents are on holiday in France. And he is absolutely broken. He gives her the news that they've been involved in a fatal accident.
Right.
And the story is then, that plunges them into just a whole world of the unknown, really. He becomes her sole carer. It's coming of age. It's dealing with, GCSE exams, social pressures of school, the whole sex, growing up. She goes a little bit crazy, and then there's a lot of repercussions from the actual party which unfold throughout said story.
Fantastic. I hope Whale Hill gets a mention if you're basing it around Eston.
Oh, I'm sorry, no, Will Hill hasn't. I'm sorry. The Eston Hills, the old railway lines, the iron ore lines got a little bit of a mention.
Good.
Yes.
No, it's lovely because Eston's one of the places in the north that's it's one of the great unspoken, and it's a shame because there's a amazing story. I mean, the hills above Eston to start with, where there's been there was a tower built on the Eston Hills to warn people in case Napoleon attacked. Forget Hitler. This is when we were at war with the French. Amazing history in there, and it's good that you're writing about what you know. It's your home, and nobody knows it better than you. So that's great. So how's it going? I mean, is it doing well?
It is currently doing far better than I could have hoped. Really, with me being new to all this. I'm not trained. This is something I used to do for fun. Mm-hmm. I would, write short stories and stuff just to entertain my friends, including them when I was at school, many moons ago, back in the 90s. So it's actually doing really, really well. I mean, on average, I'm selling about 6 or 7 ebooks per day.
That's great.
It's coming back as at the beginning. I sold quite a few paperbacks, but to be honest, I think that's mainly like people who know me, and I know a lot of people who like a proper book.
I hear that too. Absolutely. Hey, but the good thing is knowing you. If this is your new, not just passion, it is a returned passion from the past. I'm guessing you're already on with your next one, then, are you?
I am, yes. Yes, I'm on with a completely different story at the moment. I'm currently 1,500 words into said story,
right.
And I have lots of plans in place for doing a sequel to Annalee,
right?
Like later on. I wanted to do a separate story first because I just felt like I wanted to build my reader base and show them that I'm just not a one-story person.
Right.
That I can divert. I mean, similar sort of genre, but different story.
That's great. Well, you just can keep it going. Build up your own empire. You do it, lass. Good on you.
Yeah, so it's okay to have a little mention. I have my own Facebook author page. It's Victoria Collingwood Author. You can find me on Amazon. You can follow me on Amazon. And if anybody wants to get in contact with me regarding signed copies, drop me a message on Facebook, and I will be happy to sort that out for anybody.
No worries, that's great. Hey, well, continued success. Thanks, Victoria. All the best, love.
Thank you, and yourself. Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, that's just nice, especially when you put all of that work in. Nice to see a little bit of response coming back. It's all good.
This is the home of Alan Robson's Night Owls.
With the voice of the North.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Well, here we have it. It is the time for the glory that is, of course, the blah. And we are joined, as always, well, I never do it on my own. Used to as a child, but no more. It's what's texting, it's what's trending, it's what you guys are talking about. And I am joined by Hollywood McShane, producer to the stars.
Evening.
And also Chris Felton.
Morning.
Hello.
In fact, yeah.
It is, yes, we are. Don't tell them they'll go to bed. And we are looking to see what is happening. We always start with Monday's national newspaper front pages, and a lot of them talking about many of the things that we've actually covered so far. And we start with the Independent newspaper. Italy is now fighting to contain the coronavirus, but everybody is too. And the other story on here is businesses are urging Boris Johnson to avoid Brexit red tape. The warning comes as the UK and the EU prepare trade talk battle lines. Now, Britain, the weird thing is all the businesses want it the way that it was before we Brexited, and Boris has already promised it's going to be anything but that. So I don't know where that's going to lead. The coronavirus, are we any more or any less worried about it now?
It's scary because if it comes, towards us, but...
Well, they're being treated at the RVI. That's
they're in quarantine, aren't they?
Yeah.
And there's those 4 people on the plane. Do you know they put the 4 people who'd been quarantined on the plane without telling everybody else on the plane about them, and now they're all getting off the plane saying, they've got what? Because if you think about it, if anybody's going to catch anything, when you're on an aeroplane...
You're breathing all the air of everyone else.
And this is the weird thing, because the air on a plane is worse than when they allowed smoking on a plane, because when they allowed smoking on a plane, they cleaned the air. They cleaned the air 3 or 4 times during a journey. Now they say, that costs money, so we'll not do that. We'll just have everybody breathing in everybody else's germs. You just need one good bout of flu, and everybody gets off the plane sniffling. But there you go. That is the Independent newspaper trying to get a reduction in any red tape. The Times, best for rugby apparently, and a picture of somebody in Venice. Venice is the city of masks. So there's a woman with a mask over her eyes looking very bright and colourful, but with a coronavirus mask on the bottom half as well. The defence boss has been given a £300,000 tax-free payoff just to get shot of him. Here, take some money. Blimey, wish they'd done that with me. And the Times have also put Patel livid after the claim that she has lost the trust of MI5. Priti Patel, she's the minister in charge of the defence and what have you, and the MI5 don't trust her. And she's livid. So she's not terribly pretty at the moment. She's a bit more red-faced. The Guardian, time running out to contain the coronavirus, experts warn. They're not telling us what else to do. Also, 11,000 homes planned for flood danger areas. Now, I don't understand. This is The Guardian. There's a lot of green belt land that's built on a floodplain. So if you build houses there, they will flood when it rains. And that's where they're going to build homes.
Why would you do that? Just build them on a hill? That's the...
Yes. Or on stilts, if they know it. If they know it's going to be wet, you'd have thought that they'd done that, but they don't. One of the questions that they ask when you're selling houses is your house built on a floodplain? And before they even build them, they already know that they are. The Daily Mirror, £200 million belter. Picture of Tyson Fury there holding a few belts. And the Mirror investigation, horrifying is the headline. And this is Gainesville in Georgia. The grim conditions the US chickens are reared in before they're washed in chlorine, as a Tory minister refuses to rule out such meat being sold in the UK soon. Now, this is the thing that I raised at the beginning. We're actually a step ahead of the Mirror, which is very good to know. The Prime Minister has said when they washed them in this chlorinated water, no way, we're not going to, not on my watch, he said this. You will never get those chickens. However, they've just told him now that they are washing the chickens in acid. An acid chicken wash.
Wow.
So Boris says, oh, we'll have that. We'll eat those chickens. And why should we have to? They say that if you acid wash it and then fill it full of stuff to make it last forever, that it's better for us. And I'd rather have chemical-free, free-range...
Yeah, just get a free-range one.
Well,
we don't have to eat those chickens, do we?
Georgia chickens. So before you eat a chicken, you got to find out what its accent's like. And if it's a bit hillbilly, leave it alone, walk away.
You never do that in a restaurant, though, do you? When you order the chicken, where's it from?
It's in a sauce. It's down the neck, absolutely. Daily Mail, picture of the Queen. Queen's dignity as a storm over Harry and Meghan rages. Dignity. It's a picture where she actually falls asleep in the car, but they've caught a picture of her. You know when you're dozing and you just open your eyes and you go, she's done that, and they've caught the picture just as her eyes are open. Oh, her dignity over Harry and Meghan when she's
just having a kip.
She's just having a bit of. I must admit, she did look like. Oh, this is an awful thing to say, and I don't want to tempt Providence. She looked like she was gone. She did look as if she'd pegged it. She just. Completely gone in the car. She was.
I heard this today, and you might know this to be true. Apparently, the Queen still has weekly meetings with the Prime Minister. Weekly.
Yeah.
I never thought that would be done on a weekly basis because you just don't get that impression from the
If
Prime
we do
Minister.
Skype video calls or something
in person.
Oh.
He has to provide her with like a weekly round, but I didn't think it was done every week because you never hear about how her reaction to these things. And,
You'd have thought she just would belt him really hard across the every time she just walks, she just comes to the door and she goes slap, and then shuts the door and he has to walk away and come in the following week. I would love that to be the truth. Daily Mail, though, the head story isn't the Queen snoozing. It's waiting times at a 13-year high, 4.4 million patients in need of operations as the National Health Service unveils a radical plan to tackle the crisis. They're going to train, now listen to this, they're going to train nurses to do surgery. Now, I'm sorry, but nurses get paid poor wages at the best of times to say, well, by the way, on top of everything else you're doing, you're going to have to take that bloke's kidney out. I just think it's crazy.
For more money, yes.
Well, for more money, yeah, would be.
I'd take a kidney out for a bit more money.
Sell a kidney for a little
one. But be careful what you wish for. One day you'll be mugged in the car park and one of your kidneys will be missing. But with this, I just think we're already something like 80,000 nurses short.
Yeah.
So you're going to take more nurses off the wards to do surgery for 10 hours a day.
But they've got to be trained. Like,
surgeons, aren't they?
Doctors take 5 years or something, don't they?
Absolutely. Longer than that if you're a surgeon. And the information newspaper, 4 new coronavirus cases amongst the cruise ship evacuees. There's a little picture of Tyson Fury there as well. Do you think boxing's an art form, gentlemen?
I wouldn't know if it's art form. It's an exciting sport, but is it art?
I think it probably, it is to them. I mean,
they're just whacking each other.
Everything in sport.
They're just trying to make you bleed.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not really artistic.
To them, they'll call it an art form. They will, because you train for years.
If they danced around like a ballerina before
that's what they think.
hit someone, I would think so.
Tyson Fury doesn't think he dances around like a ballerina.
No, but if they did, then it would be more arty. If they'd done a little bit of a
They've always said that it's a performance, so that's for the fans.
So if he gave you a quick bit of Macarena before he started,
then it's art.
Then it's a bit arty.
See, this is the level of people we have working for us at the moment. The Daily Telegraph, coronavirus pandemic alert as the UK and Italy get hit. And furious MI5 bosses deny that they don't trust Priti Patel. It's too late. It's already out. We already know what you think of her. And the Metro newspaper, picture of Gypsy, king of the world. Picture of Tyson Fury looking down at his opponent. And also, I don't know whether you saw this in the press, very sad, coronavirus race assault. Young woman out with an Asian friend, and the Asian friend was getting remarks and whatever. Young woman sticks up for her and ends up getting beaten up.
It's horrible, that.
Just terrible. Coronavirus, race assault. It's any excuse. It's always race. You'll always find it. I hate racism, and it's always race that ends up with that kind of thing. Let's see what the Financial Times are saying. It's coronavirus related again. Italy locks down 10 towns as fears rise for a global coronavirus spread. And that is the newspapers for tomorrow morning. That is what is going to be wedged firmly through your letterbox. So get ready for that. Okay, over to you, Chris. What story you got for us?
Well, they reckon the UK will be completely cashless by 2028.
Cashless?
Will just be contactless payments.
We'll be skint.
Online. We'll probably be skint as well, to be fair, the way things are looking. But on top of that, I don't know if you've seen this week, a pub in Birmingham have got, for the first time it's been known, a contactless pool table. So
I saw the picture of that. That's quite cool.
To play pool,
a contactless.
You know how pool tables
actually,
you stick
just
a quid
go-
in, you stick a cup. Yeah, well now it's got a contactless payment option on it. That's all. It's the only way you can play. You swipe your card, and
Have you got contactless, guys?
Yeah.
yeah, well it comes as
I use it all
standard
the
now
time.
on your card.
Really?
I think you've
I pay all the time with it.
Yeah, I've
And you know,
started going that way.
I got on a bus in London and I tried to pay the driver with money. He went, "Oh, you don't come here. You just tap your phone.
That's
You
it,
don't
yeah.
even take cash
Yeah.
anymore."
But I don't have a card that does that.
You wouldn't be able to get on the bus.
Really?
They'd kick you off.
That's right. Like some of them.
I've got the old-fashioned... I've still got a box full of £1 notes that are white pieces of paper that are about 2 sizes of A4, and you have to sign them before you can hand them over.
Seriously?
at the-
They're probably,
No, of
they're
course
probably
not.
worth £2 each now. I was going to say.
No, I was
Double your
kidding.
money.
I was kidding, but I am aware of getting this thing through the door. I've got like an emergency fund. There's probably only about 60 quid in it, but I've got an emergency fund and hidden. I'm not going to tell you where.
It's like
'cause obviously
gangsters burying their money in the garden. Isn't it?
no, it's only about 70 quid, but it's the in case of emergency 70 quid, and it's 60 of its £20 notes that are no longer going
I
to
was going to
exist.
say they've changed.
You have
this
to
week.
update your wallet then.
They've changed.
Is
this
it
week.
this
The-
week?
The new one's in circulation
Yeah.
now.
But you've got to take your old ones to banks now.
Well, they haven't said they're going to give us the date, and that's then a
Yeah, I
6
think you can
month
still use them
notice.
for now.
Oh,
Yeah.
6 months.
When
is
they
it?
tell you this is the date they stop, you've then got 6 months to do it. So they haven't actually given us the date yet, so it'll be later in the year.
I hate those plastic.
I like them.
But yeah.
I quite like them now.
Well, I mean, I'd like to have more, and granted,
Yeah,
but,
I like a lot of them.
but I just think that they don't fold. You know, if you try and put them in your pocket, they spring back
there is
out
that,
again.
There is that.
No,
You know,
I mean, I don't mind them to be fair, but I pay with contactless all the time, so I never have them.
I do now. Like it's just so much easier.
It
not
is
having to
so
root
much
around for
easier.
change and
I just feel like Methuselah now. It's like I haven't caught up with that. Do I want to? Do I want to?
You might be
Do
forced.
I want to be blasé enough just to go
Click.
beep? I don't care. Beep.
And
Take
that's
my
the danger.
money.
How do you know in the pool table though situation in that pub? Do you know what? It's tradition. If you are next on the pool table, you put your pound
Yeah.
on the site. How are you meant to do that?
I know.
How are you meant to decide who's next? in
You
the
put
pub?
your credit card on.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. No way.
Okay, Hollywood McShane.
Yeah.
You've got some stuff too.
Well, this is a bit of a strange one, but
And I know
you
you
all
are.
do a bit for the environment. But this guy stopped using toilets in 1974.
What?
So basically, he relieves himself in the great outdoors and insists that daily deposits leave the earth teeming with life. So he basically goes into the forest and does his business.
So I mean, but you get up in the middle of the night. You're not going to say, "Oh, I've got to go
Well, he
all
probably
up."
just pees in the back garden if he's
That's probably
you know.
what he means. Outside.
Yeah, I can't imagine him doing it in his garden. He doesn't say where he does it. He just said in the great outdoors.
It's his garden, and it's behind the shed.
It's got to be in his. I
I'm
mean,
sure more people do that as well. More people.
But you see, when you get of a certain age, you go to the loo more often. So
Yeah.
he's not going to put his jacket on, his boots, and drive up to a forest, is he?
Well, I think he just does it in the
He's
garden.
going to lob it out the window. It's
Blame it
just
on the
gonna-
dog.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's
I can't see
doing his
that.
bit for the environment. He said, if you're an ant, it's like a fairy tale candy house.
Really?
Do you know how you have to?
If you're an ant,
It's like fertilizer, isn't it? I guess. So
yeah.
So it is good for the earth, I guess, isn't
You
it?
have to pick up after the dogs. You have to pick up after yourself.
No, he leaves it there.
Oh, you see, but that's it. Somebody's going to stand in that and say, "Dirty somebody's dirty old spaniel."
No, you can tell if it's a human one, though, couldn't you?
I think you can.
Yeah, you probably could.
I think you can. Well, there you Can you tell if it's a human? Can you tell if it's a human poo? Anyway, that is loosely what we call the blah.